So today on Williams Adventures, I'm taking in still in Springfield, Missouri, because, well, that's where I live. But I live in Greene County, and I'm still in it. I'm actually at a historic landmark that is one of several of the saddest parts of Native American culture and history. And being part Native American myself, I wanted to come check it out. And I am over here at the Trail of Tears, circa 1837 to 1838. But it was around that area is when they actually used this trail. And it was 7 nations from a whole bunch of Native American tribes that span all the way from like Oklahoma and all the way down to Texas, all the way to Georgia. And there's vast amount of trails, and they're all called the Trail of Tears, but there's several trails. And as far as I know, because I did some research, they're still trying to piece together parts of the actual trail that was used. And it was very bright. It was like, 10 in the morning. And I wanted to do this before it got super hot today. Sorry, I just got through biking. And I'm sweating out because it's like very bright out. And kind of warm and humid. So, I'm going to explore this, take pictures, and keep y'all updated. The northern route of the Trail of Tears crossed what is now the city of Springfield on its way to Indian Territory, or essentially Oklahoma. The route into town followed the old Springfield Wagon Road, also known as Springfield to St. Louis Road. Some Cherokees camped on the Josiah Finley Danforth farm just west of Stratford here. The trail detoured around the square, probably to avoid exposing local residents to the suffering Indians, and skirted to the southwest boundary of the Missouri State University main campus, which is right about here. Yeah, here. The trail crossed the southern creek with another camp on the nearby settlement of Levi Creek, located about 1.5 miles north of here. So north of where we're actually standing. The Cherokee detachments followed part of what would later become the Old Wire Road, turning south to follow Old White River Road. Another frequent camp, which is down here, was likely located near Bell Tavern, which stood at the confluence of Wilson Creek and James River, approximately 7 miles from this location. At least one Cherokee Dreadful Water died there. It is possible that he was buried in Wilson Cemetery in close proximity to Bell Tavern. From that point, the trail continued southwest along the Springfield to Fayetteville Road. Many of the aged Indians were suffering extremely from fatigue of the journey and the health consequent upon it. Several were then quite ill, and one aged man, we were informed, was then in the last struggle of death. This was posted in the New York Observer, January 26, 1839. So yeah. Then there's another one over here. In an address to Congress in 1829, President Andrew Jackson pledged to move Native American Indians west of the Mississippi River. Congress passed the Indian Removal Act on May 28, 1830. And the government began the forced relocation of about 60,000 Indians from the southeastern U.S. to what is now Oklahoma. This included the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Creek, Choctaw, and Seminole tribes, considered civilized by settlers because they had adopted many Anglo-European customs and had generally good relations with their neighbors. These tribes were forcibly removed from their homes in the southeast to Indian Territory, or Oklahoma. This removal became known as the Trail of Tears. In 1838, federal troops began forcibly evicting the Cherokee in 17 detachments, 13 land, 4 water. The first detachment by water departed in early June 1838 and arrived in Oklahoma on June 19th, 1838. So that's like 2-3 weeks. That was it. Wow. The first land detachment departed August 23rd, 1838, and arrived in Oklahoma on January 4th, 1839. The final detachment left by water on December 5th, 1838, and arrived March 18th, 1839. More than 15,000 Cherokees made the trek west from their traditional eastern homeland to Indian Territory, present-day Oklahoma, over the Trail of Tears. More than 1,000 died during the journey westward, and there may have been as many as 4,000 who died as a direct result of forced migration from disease or food shortages. Now this is Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Ohio, and Kentucky, as well as North Carolina and Tennessee. So they traveled as far, from North Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama and North Carolina areas and Tennessee areas west. They pushed them west until they were here in Indian Territory or Oklahoma. Now I've been through there. There's nothing there. It's flat and very dusty. So yeah, this is kind of very sad. And there's my bike I'm using. So that's north and that's south, and they went that way. Here's another sign: Trail of Tears original route, Fort Cass, Charleston, Tennessee, that way. Woodall's Depot, Westville, Oklahoma, 133 miles that way. So I actually read about this online, and essentially when they got to this point, they had already traveled they had told them, 600 some odd miles, and they still had 130 miles to go. And this was by foot or horse or whatever, so this is a very depressing tale. Kind of makes me glad that, the Sioux weren't forcibly migrated, as far as I know. Comment below if I'm wrong. And, there's actual historical documentation. I know that there was Wounded Knee and several other bad things that happened, but, this was, from the southeast states in the United States, moved to the middle of the United States where they had never been. They had never lived. And it's so depressing. But I'm going to continue exploring that way and see what else I come upon. Now, I do plan to backtrack and follow the entire route through Springfield, because I'm actually south of it. So yeah, let's keep going and see where we go. So I'm over here on the Trail of Tears. Those markers I read were actually a couple blocks that way. And so I came riding down here, and there's a fence. Nowhere to go beyond this fence. Unless you go down that way, but it ends in those trees right there. And somebody's backyard. Or several people's backyard. So if you're in Springfield, this is essentially where you would end at. It's actually kind of depressing. So I started off this adventure today essentially at Republic and Golden Road. There's a Walmart right there. If you go behind it to the south, the very next street, and turn to the right, that's where the Trail of Tears officially starts, or kind of unofficially, at least that's where I started. So from that point you come up Golden Road, and there's a marker, and I'm now at that next marker. I know you can't really see it because it's very bright out here, but it essentially says Trail of Tears, National Historic Trail. And then there's like footprints all over the place on the concrete, so it's actually kind of cool. And this is facing west, and there's there's some highway right there. I can't remember what it is, but I'm going that way. And this little trail marker, we've already read it before, so except we've moved from here to here. Yay. Alright. Yes, I am riding my bike. And this is the trail. There was a tree that fell over the trail, so I had to climb over that. That was not exactly fun. So, please take and like my videos, comment if you have any comments, things you'd like to see me do, places you'd like to see me go, places that you find of interest, and tell me if I've misspoken or, you know, I have some facts incorrect. It happens from time to time, you know. But, oh, and the last thing is, please support me on Patreon. I can't stress this enough because, well, I'm trying to take and build my YouTube channel so I can have some income, and I don't have any income. I have like maybe $3 if I put all my change together. I'm literally broke. I have no money. And the reason I'm asking you to support me on Patreon is, like, for example, my front wheel's kind of bent. I need to take and get work done on my bike. I have no income. I have bills to pay, food to buy, and I can't seem to find a job right now because it's just not working out. So I'm going to keep exploring this trail. It's actually really pretty, even if it is a humid day. So support me on Patreon, and this will take and help me out a lot, because I'll be able to take and get new equipment, you know, work on my bike, get the tools I need to actually work on my bike, and get like new camera equipment rather than borrowing it from my roommate. And she's not here, that's why I'm recording this on my phone, because she's on vacation. So they can check out William's Adventures, click on my videos, like them, hit that bell notification, subscribe to my channel. This has definitely helped me out. And support me on Patreon, please. Alright, I'll catch you in a bit. So as far as I can tell, you have to take in, go down, I believe it's Battlefield, to the east when you, off of Scenic, and then you turn right, or sorry, not right, but left. And the only reason I can figure you go this way is there's a bike lane on a road that really doesn't need one. So it's very strange. And you turn onto Austin, Austin. So for biking. Very warm, and I am very winded. Alright, so keep pushing forward and see what happens. Oh, here's a little green bridge. You're actually headed down this path like I went, which is a right before the park. There's actually 2 place markers before that little green bridge right there. And then you come out towards a road. I'm not exactly which road this is, but I think it's Kansas Expressway or 13 Highway. Oh God, I gotta change gears. So if you're traveling on that path, actually ends at Fort and the Sunshine, I believe. And then it turns north on Fort. The bike lane does. So I'm following the bike lane. So when you're headed north, the bike lane turns right at Broadmoor. So now I'm headed down Broadmoor. So in going down Broadmoor, I've only gone like 2 or 3 blocks. It's not very far. The bike lane turns again. And it turns to the left this time, and we're on Weaver and Broadmoor. So it turns to the left. So we're headed to the left. And here's a school. Mark Twain Elementary School. So it's a reference point. Alright. So, you're going down Weaver and you don't go very far. It's like 3 blocks. And you come to Seminole. And you have to go right. Because this is where the bike trail goes. And I'm really hoping that this is the Trail of Tears, which I'm guessing it is. Oh, bike route now turns to the left. We're literally on a block. Now I'm on Broadway, headed north. So you don't go very far. And then it kind of ends in a cul-de-sac, but it's not. There's a left turn, and we're now on McGee. And it looks like we're going a block and turning right again. Oh, at least it's a pretty neighborhood. And we're back on Weaver. And turning to the right. Oh, great. Now the bike road splits. I wonder which way I should go. Probably down Cherokee. Because that just makes sense to me. Since Cherokee was one of the tribes that was moved. So, if you follow that road around like I did, Cherokee comes out on Campbell. And you either have to turn left or right. And the bike route says to go left. And I happen to be just south of Bass Pro. So, there we go. How you doing? So the bike route, I turned left on Campbell, and then I turned at literally the next street, which is Cherokee. So I'm going down Cherokee again. I followed Cherokee and it ends at Mercy Heart Hospital on National. And I remember from that map a little bit that I need to head north. So I'm going to go north on National and hopefully pick up the trail again. The official trail rather than what I'm riding. So I was going up International and there was a sign that said Historic District on my right, so I went down it and I'm on Walnut. And I'm gonna go down this to Glenstone because on that little map that I took a picture of, it made a diagonal cut, and so I'm thinking I'm on the right street and then go over to Glenstone and I should be on the path again. So I went north on Glenstone, checked my map, and I went down Chestnut. And I know Chestnut up here goes to the right, but on the map I had, it says go to the left. And there is a street coming up, which I am going to take on my left up there where all the vehicles are coming out. So I'm still on it. It's kind of not clearly marked over here, so it's not very easy to follow. So the street I took off of Chestnut was Pythian or Pythian, whatever. And that's the sports complex up there. It is very warm out. Like very warm, and I am sweating. I need to get some more water, Gatorade, something. Keep me hydrated. Yeah, sorry if you didn't catch it. It is the Trail of Tears crossing at the Lake Country Soccer Club, I guess. So, I'm in the right area again. So I'm going to take this trail over here to my left. We're by this playground. It's at the end of Patterson. All right. So my the lever that shifts from first to second to third gear came loose. So now I have to head home or to the nearest bike shop to repair that because it's dragging on my chain. That's bad. So essentially the Trail of Tears in Springfield goes from the sports park over here, Cooper Tennis Complex, through Springfield and down into Battlefield. And I went the best route I knew how, and I might be able to clarify it a little bit more in like the Chestnut area, but for now I have to head home and fix my bike. So thank you for coming along on William's Adventures. Like my video, subscribe to my channel, and please support me on Patreon. So stuff like this, it gets annoying because I can't exactly finish my adventure for today, but it is finished for me due to unforeseen circumstances. Hopefully I'll be able to continue finalizing exactly where the Trail of Tears is, on like exactly which street would be the best way to take. But I went on bike routes and street names that kind of made sense to me, and if you do research, it would make sense to you too, hopefully. Alright, well, thank you for today, and I'll see you on my next adventure. So update, ha 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 ha. I took a risk and I came in here to the import specialist over here, and I was able to find out or figure out that this here had slid down the post, and that's what was dragging on my bike chain. So one of the mechanics was very kind, lent me